Welcome back. You're now watching the lifestyle segment on the Weekend Show brought to you by Holocrunch Popcorn. Hello, Didi. Compliments of the
Hi.
season.
Same to you.
You heard me wail about the fact that it doesn't feel like Christmas. Does it feel like Christmas?
In Abuja, no, it doesn't.
But you've had a road trip of sorts. How did it look like in Akwa Ibom State?
In Akwa Ibom, it actually does look like Christmas. One thing about Akwa Ibom is during Christmas, the decorations are phenomenal. I don't know who they contract to do that, but it's always so beautiful. And I've not seen any of that in Abuja.
I think it's a great feeling just seeing the Christmassy look. I mean, I saw at Transco, they have something for children, like a Christmas village, free PR. I think it's also peer pressure from Lagos. You know how every December in Lagos,
Yes, it's so beautiful.
I think it's Zenith Bank or the state government and what they do. So it hasn't felt like Christmas for me. I did get a hamper for the first time in like a couple of years. So that's good. So what's the plans for Christmas?
I'll be in Abuja for Christmas, yeah. Then after Christmas, I would probably travel.
You know, Abuja people have started having their fair share of fun. There was a Davido concert the day before yesterday. There was a SHEHU yesterday and Otomodo Black. So maybe we're the ones who are just too old to know what's going on.
I'm Gen Z, speak for yourself.
Okay, good. Let's talk about speaking for ourselves. I love reading books, and I had this conversation with you earlier. By 12, I'd finished Shakespeare's works. But in recent time, attention span has reduced. So I found it so hard to read a book from start to finish, and almost disappointing that this year I've tried reading about 10 books, but I haven't been able to finish any of them. However, I did finish a book last week.
Oh, that's good.
And the name of the book is MAITAMA LINEN, especially because I knew the author was going to be here. But it also spoke about the scandalous lives of Abuja elites, and who was I to say I wouldn't finish this book and find out. We'll be having a conversation with the author, and so joining us we have
SHEHU Yakubu, who is the author of MAITAMA Linen. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
So congrats. Thanks for making me read a book from start to finish.
My pleasure.
As ignorant as I sound. But I do replace reading hard copy books with audiobooks and podcasts because I'm always on the go. But what made you write a book?
Well, it was lockdown. I started writing in lockdown, actually. The world was allegedly coming to an end. Everybody was probably going to die, and I'm a workaholic, so I was in my space, and if I didn't do something, I would lose my mind. And I had always wanted to write, so I decided this is the best time to start writing. And what to write about? Let me write about the society we live in. And since it was locked down and the world was in fear and all bets were probably off, I decided, you know what, let's take the rug off and bring all the dirt that's been hidden underneath, and let me speak about society. Let me test my artistic range in terms of writing, and that's why I wrote.
How would you describe the main themes, messages that you covered in your book?
If you've read the book, so from chapter 1, there's Kemi, who's a female mechanic, who's basically supporting her family. There's Tunde, her husband, whose father was a successful soldier, but then he hasn't continued a good legacy. And it speaks about the men in society who don't own up to their responsibilities. And Kemi's role as a mechanic, feeding her family, speaks about how a lot of women are secretly carrying their families, also financially. So that's just the beginning of it. And there are many other messages about greed, how greed can lead you to your end, how peer pressure can lead you to your end. So I don't want to give all of my juices away so the viewers can buy my book. But right from chapter 1, there's a message there.
We'll try not to spoil it. And so please go read the book, MAITAMA LINEN. It's for adults, by the way. However, talking about themes, I like the fact that I couldn't predict what was going to happen in the book. And so there's a Z, and there's an Aisha, there's a Binta, whose story I found interesting, and maybe you should write another book about just those three. But I will give you credit for your research. Your research in writing that book, like when you were talking about BBLs, when you were talking about some type of drugs which were used in certain things. They were so precise that I was like, it's either this guy's a great researcher or he has experienced some of this in real life. So tell us, how did you go about your research to connect the dots?
So the internet was there and my friends were there. It's like when I wanted to write about a cocaine scene in the book, I had to call a friend. I was like, bro, how far? Have you taken cocaine before? And he was like, no, but I know someone who has. So I would call and I would be, because as a writer, if you're reading, you have to believe what I'm writing. So I've never taken coke before, but I had to write about someone taking it and how they would feel and how they would experience it. I also don't take alcohol, and some of my characters were getting drunk for the first time, so I had to write about that. So research was necessary. The creative part of the work, the body, has to be as believable as possible. I appreciate that you mentioned that you finished the book and it was exciting to read. Every step of the book, I wanted to make your imagination just colorful. I wanted to make you immersed so that you don't pull out. So the biggest challenge for me was creating as much excitement and suspense as possible. So I would write, I would get up, jump, lay down, do some push-ups, come back, write. I would read and see how I feel. If I'm not getting enough juice, I delete, I write again. So yes, there was research from people, from the internet. I would watch YouTube videos about things that I don't know about, that I wanted to write about, and there you have it.
One of my favorite characters in the book was Farida. I like a boss babe. I really do like a boss babe. So is there any chapter that holds, special significance to you?
Well, the book is not for me per se. The book is for all of us. So he would like someone that resonates with him. You like Alton. You would like Farida. The sad thing about the love for Farida is a lot of women resonate with Farida. A lot of women like Farida. And it shows the inadequacies of men in our society because she thrived in her personal and business life despite having challenges with her marriage. And a lot of women search for that independence, to be able to not need a man to move forward in society. And that should tell us that we need to wake up and take care of our women more. And for me personally, if there's any character that I would say, or any part of the book that is personal to me, I would say it's the tributes. Here and there, I drop tributes for my friends. I mention some names here and there, but I wrote the book for everybody. Like, everybody should find who they connect with. Everybody should find who they like, and to get the message and the lesson that gets their demons, So.
Quick segue. SHEHU has a nice cafe where I absolutely love their food called Cafe de Mange. And so I smiled when I was reading the book and I saw an honorary mention of Cafe de Mange. And I was like, I see what you did here. But going back to what you spoke about, there were a lot of strong female characters in the book.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was your intention, but I absolutely loved that.
Yeah.
But and this book is fictional, but most times we get tied onto moral conversations. It wasn't your intention, but all the women there, regardless of what they were doing, were very hardworking.
Yeah.
And there was this goal to protect their families, themselves, their future, as much as some of it may have been through whatever means, because this is survival of the fittest.
Yeah.
It's still tied to some moral lesson with everybody's story. Was this intentional, or it's developed over time? Because every woman there had some strong personality or strength about them, which had a moral tie-in, whether negative or positive.
So it was very, very intentional. If I wrote a book and I called it Change in Society, nobody would read it, nobody would buy it. So of course the title has to be scandalous and interesting. And my book is very pro-woman. If you see, I've spoken about physical abuse, sexual abuse in the early chapters, and I've expressed how Nigerian men generally feel entitled to women's bodies. So all the characters I built, all the lessons and morals behind those characters are very intentional. I just wanted to make the story so interesting that you would enjoy the journey and collect the message in very smooth ways. So if I said, okay, this book I'm writing now, the heading, We Need a Better Society, nobody would buy it. My friends would probably be like, hey, congrats, you wrote a book, but they wouldn't pay for it. But MAITAMA Linen, The Scandalous Lives of Abuja Elites, they want to know if their gist is inside. Is their gist inside? Maybe. Maybe not. But yes, the target of the book is for us to look inwards. The world is not a safe place for women generally. So we, as the protectors naturally of women, we need to look inwards and do better. And also some of the journeys of these female characters who have made bad decisions should also remind the women who read that as a woman also, the sky is the limit, yes, but you can also do better with the choices you make in life.
Okay. One bone I have to pick with you is I don't like how Z's story ended. Yeah, her part of the story. I'm not going to go into that. Go read the book. Yeah, so I don't.
Let me just say, Z's story's
But did that story
ending.
end?
That's the thing. Z's story's ending is purely based on your perception of how it ended. Now, in a sequel, possibly, things might go differently, but some people have come to me and said, it ended like this, it ended like that, it didn't end like this. So you as a, it's a clay, it's a piece of clay that your mind plays with. So the way it's ended for you is how your mind has perceived that ending.
Are you stylishly telling us there's going to be a sequel?
Maybe.
You know what? I think this is a good place to leave it because most of your readers will tell you that they feel like pouring water on you or throwing stones at you because of how it ended. I went through that journey and said, I must finish this, I must. And then the last chapter was like, this is the end, this is the end, this is the end. And I'm like, what is wrong with this boy? Like, how do you just end it here? And so, should we expect a sequel?
Definitely, but I'm tempted to drag you guys along. You know, as a creative, now I feel like writing a tragic love story. So everybody wants MAITAMA Linen part 2. So I might write a tragic love story, then MAITAMA Linen part 2.
Interestingly, I was having a conversation with Didi where I said, even the lives of Z, Binta, and Aisha could be a book on its own.
Yes.
Because there's so much to their story going back or coming forward.
Exactly. Every character has depth, backward and forward. Writing the book, I intended to also, because I love movies, and I've always dreamt of working with the big directors and writers in Hollywood. So I was thinking, you know, let me write this book in a way that I could turn it into a series, you know, for Netflix possibly. So every character, as I built them, has enough independence to drag on. So if I decided to write the book to 1,000 pages, I would just expand the story of Tanko. I would expand the story of Farida. I would expand the story of those 3 girls in their school life and everything. So it was intentional to leave it in a way that I can be flexible with writing.
SHEHU, brilliant work. We could go on and on and on,
Yeah.
but fortunately we didn't spoil anything for anybody. Go read the book. It's been on your screen, MAITAMA Linen. It's out in stores. It's out on digital platforms as well.
From first week of January, they will be available in bookstores.
And you'll find it available in bookstores. But follow MAITAMA Linen on Instagram if you need to place an order. But well done, brilliant book. I want to see more writers. I promise to read more books next year, thanks to you and your story.
Yeah. I just before we go, in a minute, I want to know how true the stories are. I was trying to match characters to, you know, in the book to reality.
So real.
I'm not even going to lie, that's what I was doing while I was reading.
Well, in the beginning of the book, there's a disclaimer that says that everything is fiction. So I cannot legally answer your question in a manner that you would like. But there, what I would say is, focus on the demons. The demons are real. The problems of Farida are real. To people around you, people around me, my friends, family. The problems of Zainab are real to people around us. So you might see Zainab resembling someone, but it's Zainab's demons that are resembling someone's demons. And that is the intent of the book. So the character is a shell for the message. The message will be similar to many people around you.
My final word is, it's a tough world out there. As a people, we need to do better, but men, we have to do better. Art imitates reality, history repeats itself, fiction imitates reality, and some of these things we read, we need to also go back and see that sometimes if we fix the problems before they start, it would escalate to bigger problems. We'll take a quick break. When we return, more on The Weekend Show.